Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cosmic Conversations. I'm your host, Sheila Seppi, and I have this lovely crew here with me. We are on gallery view, so you can see my beautiful sisters that are here. We have the lovely Larissa Stowe. We have the beautiful Michelle Anderson, and Michelle has been my co-host for the entire month. I am absolutely thrilled. She is a phenomenal co-host, a great sister. I think the first time we met, we talked for hours on the phone. It was one of the, hey, let's get together, let's have a 30-minute call, and it was just wonderful.
We ended up spending the whole day together.
Yeah, yes. So, and we're here throughout this entire month. We've been talking about the Sunfire Festival, which is really near and dear to Michelle's heart. But Michelle, before we actually take off and start with our interviews and things, I'd really like for you to tell people just a little bit more about yourself and the work that you're doing, and how maybe a little bit about how you came to do what it is you're doing.
Well, you stumped me on that one. One of the things that I feel when I describe myself is that I feel much more comfortable highlighting just the essence of people that I come across and that I meet, and that introducing people back and forth, because I seem to have a knack for it. I seem to be able to get a hit when I meet somebody. I feel like I know that you and my other friend would really have some collaboration that might happen, and I'd like to introduce you. So I feel like I'm just somebody who introduces a lot of people, and that's my greatest joy, is making these connections that I think are for the upliftment of all. That when we come together and we collaborate together and we celebrate everybody's successes, then we all win. And there's no competition there. And I'd like to see the world, envision a world where there's harmony. So that's what brought me here, is that I met you, Sheila, and fell in love with you right away through a Portal to Ascension webinar. And that's a group that I love to work with, Portal to Ascension, as well as Disclosure Fest, doing the mass meditations, and working with Adrienne Valera of Disclosure Fest, doing the Feed Our Souls programs, and the my husband just interrupted and I get all he's walking in wanting to feed me. Anyway, I like to collaborate with other people that are high vibe and that are in integrity and operating from a heart space where they're in service. And that's what brings me the most joy. And so I found a lot of people through my work with Awakening Code Radio, which I've been co-hosting Eric Rankin on Awakening Code Radio, and doing that for the past 10 plus years. And so that's really what I like to do. I have facilitated journeys to sacred vortex sites like Peru and Mount Shasta and Sedona. And I like to take people on the water to be with dolphins and whales. And I live in an area where it's very easy to do that because there are so many dolphins and whales in our area. And we go on the water and we commune with them in just a blissful state. Larissa's been with us on the boat once or twice.
Yes. It's incredible and magical. And so many amazing people are magnetized to that boat because of you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, when the dolphins placed it on my heart to start doing these dolphin boat trips, really what they wanted me to do was gather people together that maybe didn't know each other before. And it's a place for people to meet in that heart space with joy, and that really what they want us to do is put our love and our intentions for what we want to co-create in the world into the waters, because the water is a conductor of energy. And so that's what we do. We go with a very conscious intention to do that. And then we find out that when the dolphins show up, we all get so excited that the joy is palpable. And I know there's been a lot of research on the feeling, when we put feeling with our intentions and our prayer, there's been a lot of research that we manifest. That's the sweet spot on how to manifest. So I see that Naraya is trying to call me. Naria is one of our other guests tonight, and I can't really get her right now. So I'm going to text her. Why don't we start? I saw your lips moving, Sheila, but I don't hear you.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay.
Okay.
So why don't you take a moment? Also, I do want to say I have another special guest here. He'll be popping on a little bit later with us, but I have Kiara Windrider. I'm going to take my backdrop off, and we have ta-da! So Kiara is here. He's visiting. I'm so thrilled to have him. We've had a great time. We did some workshopping, some sessions, and he'll be coming back in August to conduct a 3-day workshop on shamanic Inca practices. So we're doing a lot of planning and having a lot of fun. So I wanted him just to pop on and say hi to everyone as well.
Woo.
Speaking of dolphins and whales.
That's right.
Yeah, really. I want to talk with you about that some more, Michelle. I'm taking a group to swim with dolphins in the Red Sea in September.
Wonderful.
I'd love for you and friends to come join, and I want to come and join where you are. So let's talk some more.
Okay, for sure. We mention your name all the time on our show because we had a really good time when you came on Awaken.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, that
We
was
should
awesome.
do that again.
Great. All right, honey. All right, Larissa, I'm going to go ahead and bring you on up. So we're so thrilled to have you with us here tonight. Thank you so much. And, we were doing a little chit chat before we got started and, talking about how things are real. And tonight, man, we are really making it real because everything electronic is, not doing its thing.
It's happening.
And I know it just happens. And you've just got to go with it. So I just kind of loved some of your statements about how we just sort of, drop into the minute and go with the flow. And I just really appreciate you being here.
I'm happy to be here too, Sheila. Even with all the technical stuff that's happening, it's almost like that. When that happens, it really asks us to come forward and be present, in our heart and to be with it. Because then we learn that we can do anything, right? So it's okay. It's okay when these things happen, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It gives us permission to be human.
That's right.
Yes, it so does because we've so done the other where we feel like we have to be perfect and it's so important to be transparent, to be courageously vulnerable, with ourselves and with each other. That's like what radical, like that self-acceptance, which is love, it's love. It cultivates love and we're not trying to be something, but we just are. And we're just showing up to just, love each other and ourselves.
Absolutely.
So much easier.
I know when I listen to you, Larissa, and I think because you are one of the most authentic humans, that are doing great works in the world. And when I see you on stage, I know that a lot of times people place a persona on somebody because they see somebody on stage and they're what you do is you move people to open their hearts. And your singing is so incredible. It puts us in an ecstatic, blissful state. That's what I felt the first time I ever experienced you and your band. Larissa Stowe and Shakti Tribe are, I just don't have the right human words to explain the feeling that you get when you're at one of their events, their concerts. But on top of that, Larissa, you are just a remarkable human being. And it's been so great for me to get to know you and become your friend. And, you're just real. And we have your birthday party at my house and hang out, and then see all the work that you're doing in the world, bringing people into community. I witness you bringing people into that radical self-acceptance and giving them tools on how to navigate these times we're in. There, you know, I know that a lot of us are experiencing this leap in our evolutionary process, and sometimes it knocks us off our rocker. And you don't seem to get knocked too much. You just
Well, that's what I think. I don't know, honey. There's like there's the outward expression of that, and then there's, you know, our inner experience, right? Like I definitely feel like, all right, okay, you know, how do I show up and surrender to the things that are, you know, like it almost feels like we're in a video game at times, you know, and we're going through these different levels and we get knocked down, but we get up again. It's all about getting up again, right? You know, you get knocked down, you get thrown off, but that's very human. It's like, and the more we can just really love ourselves and love each other and just drop this whole perfectionist thing. And at the core of it, it really is about love. There's just like, there's nothing else, you know, and we can talk so long about all the different wonderful religions and all the different practices and all the different beliefs. But when it comes down to it, it's so simple. It really is. It's just love and kindness at the end of the day, right? And when things get like really wild and rocky and crazy, and just loving ourselves and loving each other and just dropping in and huddling in close.
and the magic happens there. You know, I tonight, right before, you know, I knew we had this call when I needed to show up. My husband says, we need to run and get these papers notarized. And I could feel myself getting anxious and thinking, but I need to have enough time to be ready for my call. And, you know, you're pushing me to get this done. But I didn't say any of that. I just thought, we have enough time. We'll figure it out. We go to the bank and the bank can't do the notary. And then they send us over to this other mail place. And we're supposed to have 2 witnesses. And the notary says, you don't need 2 witnesses. I've been doing this all these years. And I'm witnessing myself staying relaxed when it's all going on around me. And this man walks up and my husband says, oh, look, there's 2 witnesses right there. We don't even know these people, right? My husband says to them, will you be our witness for, you know, notarize this? And the man looks at it and I said, my mother passed and I need to sign these documents. And he said, so he starts reading them. And I was like, are you an attorney? And he said, I am. And I said, what, would you be our witness? And he says, yes. He signs them. And then before he left, I said, what kind of law do you practice? And he said, trust, doing, you know, trust, which is what this is all about. And I said, can I have your name and number? Because my husband and I are going to, after this whole process with my mom's, is, you know, her trust. And I learned a lot. But my husband looks at me like, how did that just happen? You know? And it's just being relaxed and being in that frequency of trust. And I just thought it was funny that something had me ask him, what kind of law do you practice? And it was, you know, trust law. So this is where we're finding, as this process speeds up the way that we're seeing it happen, we could either collapse in and really feel like contracted, or we just swim with it. Be dolphin-like.
Yes, it's like that playful, the presence, right? It's being present. And it's like, that's the universe just showing up for you, going, good job, honey.
Yeah,
you know,
I
you
gotcha.
relaxed, you surrendered. And from that relaxing and surrender, this trust that you had created a trust lawyer. So I love how that connected.
And living in the frequency of trust, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know I was going to talk about that tonight, but it seems like that was what the universe was asking us to surrender to trust. And I see that Naria is here as well. Did I pronounce your name right? From One Heart?
Yes.
Naria, welcome. It's nice to see you on camera.
Hello.
So, Naria, meet Larissa Stowe. You're both performing at Sunfire Fest in Aztec, New Mexico in August.
Hi, Naria.
Hi, Larissa. Wonderful. That's great. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the vision of Sunfire and also just to be there to participate and share music. And I love the venue. We've been kind of at Tico time since the beginning of it opening as a music venue. So it's just really fun. It's just such a beautiful place. The land there is really sacred and sanctified, and it's just a beautiful place. If you haven't been there before, on the river and in the
Yeah.
cottonwoods, and it's really a blessed place. And a lot of people have really laid the groundwork, literally, and walked the land and built altars, and so that it's a sacred place. Yeah. So I'm excited to be there for this particular gathering. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels
Mm.
very, very blessed. You can feel like the energy is just already, and it's like, ooh, and you can feel that energy coming in, and what's the blessing of what we get to be a part of, right? The alchemy of what all of us get to be a part of, and all of the souls that are called to be in that sacred alchemy together. Very
Mhm.
exciting. These are
And
the fun times.
Lisa, you played there
Mhm.
before, right? You have played a festival there once before, haven't you?
Yeah, we did last year at the Serenity Festival. And I'll tell you, because of that Serenity Festival, a lot of magic opened up. That just like, for those of you that don't know, we just bought land in Arizona that's called Shiloh. That wouldn't have happened if we wouldn't have done the Serenity Festival, because it gave me the opportunity to look at land on the way back. And it's just, so there's more magic. The place has a lot of magic, and it's drawing us together,
Mhm.
to create beyond what we can even imagine, which is always really fun, like to be the last one to know what's going to come next, in that magical way.
I love that. And
Michelle, I know
Mhm.
we talked about this earlier, but I was wondering, could you give people a little bit of history? How did Sunfire Festival get started? What was the inspiration?
Mm.
Well, a few Monday nights ago, on our first Monday in June, Jennifer Berryhill talked about how it got started on that program. And to recap a little bit of what she said, I'm not her, so it was her vision. Jen Berryhill used to be the event producer for Chief Golden Light Eagle of the Star Knowledge teachings. And when he passed, she had gotten a vision when she went to Grandmother Tree, which is known as Devil's Tower, but we don't like to call it that. That's the
Oh,
name, I guess. We call it Grandmother Tree. And she had gone up on the hill. I think she was fasting, and she had a vision, and that's where the 5 Arts of Harmony and Sunfire Fest blossomed in her. And she had told Chief that that's what her vision was. So they had planned on doing something like this, and then he passed. I believe he passed in 2021, and we were all devastated. None of us expected it, and we always felt like he was kind of immortal and he would always be with us.
Yeah.
And it feels like he still is with us, and that he's guiding this. I mean, the synchronicities that have come through with, I go out and I'm doing something for Sunfire Fest, and then I pass a street that says Eagle or Glen Eagle or Eagle Hills, or a song comes on. He feels like he's really cheering us on for this. And his daughter Nicole took over the Star Knowledge conferences and selling of his books, and she's doing really well with her Star Knowledge conferences in South Dakota. And there's another woman named Terry Rivera that does some of those teachings in Serpent Mound, where she's from. She's also taken it and done some things in Mount Shasta and different areas, gone to different places. And so what's beautiful is I see this whole big collaborative effort of everybody going where the energy is leading them to go, to co-create whatever we can do to uplift and inspire people to really come into their hearts, using these different methods and learning about learning about regenerative agriculture practices, learning more about astrology and the star teachings, and always infusing it with music, and our indigenous elders joining with us to give their teachings, the indigenous elders of the land. We've got 10 fire keepers. Naria, do you know the fire keepers that are coming to Sunfire Fest? If you've been at Tico Time, I think you might know. Nathan, do you know any of them? Have you ever worked with any of them? Maybe not.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who the I don't know the names of the fire keepers who've been there at the sacred fire in the past. Yeah. So
Well, the
I don't-
ancestral village
I have
holds.
that. Yeah.
I think your
Go
camera
ahead.
your camera broke up for a minute, but that's okay. But there are many indigenous elders and beautiful First Nation people that are coming forward that want to be a part of this. And so it kind of, I feel like it's a grassroots effort that's growing and expanding because of the heart vision of Jennifer Berryhill. And that's why I said I would help her. She asked for my help. She asked for Christy Grace's help. And Christy Grace has done many of these festivals, including Serenity and Unison. And she works for Tico Time, putting on their different festivals, the Bluegrass Festival, and they all have a little bit different vibration and signature to them, but all are just as important. The land is holding some, like Larissa said, a lot of magic and a lot of sacredness there. So the idea is to gather people together that really want to have and hold that high intention of what we want to see moving forward, and use the prayer drum, singing the Sundance Lakota songs, and we have the singers and the drummers coming, and then we have a lot of musicians coming. And tonight, in our final Monday of Cosmic Conversations, we wanted to focus on 2 of our musical acts that will be there. And what I'd like to do, Larissa, I see you on split screen with me right now. What I'd like to do is ask you, I'm not going to put you on the spot and say, will you sing for us right now? I wish I could, right? Because I know you've done it when I've asked you before, because I love your singing, brings me to tears in a good way every single time I hear your voice. You open your mouth and my heart opens.
Oh, honey.
And what I'd like for you to share with our audience tonight is a little bit about what got you started in the type of music you play, and give us, paint us a picture of what happens to you when you play, and the genre that your music is, and how you're inspired to write your songs and do what you do.
Well, I have been inspired to write music for more years than I'd almost like to say. It's been quite a while, but I've been writing, since my 20s, and that's a while. And I got started singing, songs that were still very spiritual in nature, because I've always been somebody who is really, I just love the divine so much. As a child, I was obsessed with the divine. So that's always been, for me, my sweet spot, I guess you could say. And so my music back in my 20s was all about my own personal journey, and in relationship to the divine, and all the questioning and all the seeking. And when the World Trade Towers fell, it shifted everything for me. It felt so intense in the world, and it felt like there was such a divisive energy that came in at that time. And I felt so called to just sit there and write songs of peace. I wanted to bring music to peace prayers. I had this idea. I had read James Twyman's book, Emissary of Light, at the time, and he had gone to a CC, to a conference where religious leaders from all over the world came together, and they shared their prayers. And James put them in this book. And I just felt called to go sit and look through this book. And I immediately just opened the book when there was a the news was on, and they, at the time, it's hard to believe that this actually happened, but they were telling us to tape up our doors and windows for the threat of a terrorist attack. And I just was like, this is just out of control. You know, like I just felt like the fear was so heightened, and my own like little the reptilian part of my own brain was activated, I guess you could say, my amygdala. And I just was called to put music to these prayers, to calm myself down, these peace prayers. And little did I know that when I started writing these prayers for myself and to calm myself down, that as I started sharing them, that people would ask me to come and share these prayers. And I did that along with putting music to mantra. I was teaching Kundalini yoga at the time, and was working with mantra, and I just felt like I just want to put all my energy into this space, like you were talking about earlier, Michelle, you know, trust, right? To trust, to bring my vibration back into that frequency of trust rather than feeling so contracted in that fear. And so I was called to do this, and my band wasn't so happy with me at the time. They're like, what are we doing here? You know, because it was like a complete 180-degree turn from what we had been doing. Like we were opening for, like, at the time, Berlin and OMD and at these clubs. And then I was just like, halt. I want to sing peace prayers. I want to sing mantra. And my audiences were like, what are you doing? Like nobody had an interest in that at the time, hearing me sing these things. But other audiences did. Like my audience, my normal audience just was not into it, but I got asked to sing at all these other places, and thus began a whole different flow and river for me that felt more authentic to what I needed, because it really dropped me into my heart at a deeper level and got me out of my mind and into the heart, out of the fear and into the love. And so I never went back. But what I did do is I started incorporating, like I started off being, I guess you could say, more traditional in the world of kirtan and devotional music, like pure devotional music. I felt like I kind of had to be in the beginning. You know, I was finding my way, and then I'm like, what am I doing? That's not totally authentic. So, because who I am.
Kirtan? You mean the kirtan part?
Well, the way people did kirtan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say because I do my own flavor, but I would say that in the past, when I first started doing what I do, I could feel that every time I leaned into more of my own ecstasy, which is kind of intense, you know, for some people, it's not your standard, just kind of music.
You make it work though. I love the way you do it. You beat on your chest, you get everybody to open their chest, you get people to stick their tongues out and breathe, but you do it in such a graceful, feminine, authentic way. You even get people to roar, you know, and
well, that's, for me, that is like truly this communion of spirit and the human.
mm-hmm.
Right? We're not just one, we're both, and it's this beautiful communion of heaven and earth within ourselves. And this is what started moving me, is to bring more of heaven and earth. Like I am so about Divine Mother in that sense of really honoring this journey of being in these bodies. You know, we chose to come into a body to grow consciousness, you know, to expand consciousness. And the body is an amazing place to be, to touch, to feel, to grow, grow consciousness beyond what we know. So I was called to do that, and I've never stopped, and it expanded more and more. It's like I gave myself more permission to truly merge the human and what we might look as being that traditional devotional kind of energy. It's like it's the bridge of heaven and earth. heaven in earth, not on earth, but it's bridging heaven in earth and earth in heaven. And that's my mission, is to awaken the divine feminine truly, within all of us, to root before we rise, so to speak. 'Cause
Perfect
you,
way
you
to
know what I, you know what I mean by that? Because there's so much talk about ascending, and that we want to ascend, but you gotta root like the tree roots, right? The vegetables, plants, everything roots before it rises. If you don't root deeply into the earth and have gratitude for growth, have gratitude for the human experience that gives us this opportunity to be love in our bodies, to love the human, then we don't honestly rise. Then it's like what we were talking about in the beginning. It's like we're putting on these social masks and looking at perfection and what spirituality looks like. Well, spirituality is like, it's us. It's like these humans doing, meeting our challenges and how we rise within those challenges.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
And sometimes it's not always pretty. Sometimes we have to look into the ugly parts.
Or what we think is, right? But really it's like those shadowy parts. It's like when we are with each other and we don't give up on each other, it's actually the shadowy parts that create more intimacy, when we face that together, right? It's like deeper. It's deeper love. It's real. It's real. It's a velveteen rabbit, right? So that's been my experience, like with the music and where it's brought me to and what I'm excited about. It's like getting people into their bodies, expressing, feeling free to really ecstatically open up to the divine and what that feels like for you, not the person next to you or anybody else, but what does that feel like in your body? Just to open up, with your voice. And that's what I love about devotional music too. And the kirtan is that we sing together. I feel like I'm here to just give people permission to let go, just to let go and to be who you are and celebrate who you are.
Totally. And I think about, you talk about the different types of songs you have, and there are times that I say, this is my favorite song. And then I say, oh, wait a minute, now I have this favorite song, because you have a lot of songs that I play on repeat a lot. I don't know if Sheila's able to get one of your songs up. Are you still working on it, Sheila?
I think we can do it.
And Larissa, you have a new song out called Soon Soon that we debuted on Awakening Code Radio last week, and it came out right around the solstice, and it's beautiful. And today, when you were talking just now, I had no idea how I was going to do this, but when you were talking about the Divine Mother, I remembered that when I first met you, one of my favorite songs is one of your older songs. And I think Sheila's going to actually play the music video of it. I didn't know she was going to do that, or just play the music. I hope this is okay with you, Larissa, that we're playing this.
It's okay. I hope it translates well, though, through the YouTube, with all this.
I don't know, the bandwidth we might not.
Is where we do I trust. Oh, the sun me down.
I don't think it's going to play, Sheila. It seems like the bandwidth isn't enough to play it, huh, Larissa?
I think, it's also because all of us we're talking, and it's like that stopping and starting, right?
Yeah, darn. Oh, Sheila, can you stop it?
Yes, it's stopped.
Maybe you can give us an overview of this song called Bloom. And I like to share the lyrics too, some of the lyrics, because they mean so much to me. And I feel like we're all moving into this space, and you're helping to lead the charge to move into the space of trust. It talks about trust. Learn to learn to trust.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's interesting this when I wrote this song, again, it's like I wrote it for myself. And at the time when I wrote this, I was in that world of just like the clubs and pop rock, and I never ever thought I would bring this song, sing this song in the world. To be honest with you, it was a song I wrote for myself. It was a song of devotion and what I was feeling at the time, in my own life. And yeah, it was really a time when I needed to give myself permission to lean in and let go and trust the fall into the place of looking at parts of myself that maybe I didn't want to look at the time, and know that I would be completely received in love.
I love that. Mother Mary, sanctuary. I'm trying to think of the lyrics. Mother Mary, sanctuary.
I bow before you.
Bow before you.
Carry me to truth.
As I learn to love like you. Oh,
As
gee,
I
I can remember crying the ugly cry the first time I heard that song. I was like, oh my gosh, the lyrics penetrated my heart. And I know you have so many other incredible songs that you're going to play for us at our event at Sunfire Fest. And of course, your peace song that you play, the Peacemakers, that's always a favorite, but you've expanded and have a lot more in your library now. So I know that whoever comes is going to get an incredible opening ceremony, because we have you playing on the first night. And we're super excited that the whole band is going to be there, right? You want to give shout outs to the rest of the band?
My beloved band. Yeah, it's a family. It truly is a family. We may have been born of different mothers and fathers, but I'll tell you, it's like a family in our band. And when we have the opportunity to tour together, it's a huge gift because we get to spend that quality time together.
Yeah. It's like a holiday when you travel, like the whole family gets together for the holiday and you guys make it a holiday. Well, Larissa, thank you so much for coming on. I know that you have so much going on, and I want to also get to Naria, who is one of our other band members, is going to play. I think Naria is going to play on Sunday. And so we want to hear a little bit from her. And just thank you so much, Larissa, for all you do in the world and for being on with us tonight. And we'll see you at Sunfire Fest in August.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, Sheila, so much for having me on the show tonight. And for everyone who's tuning in, Stone and Maria, I look forward to seeing you at Sunfire Fest as well to connect. Yeah, much love, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, honey.
And Naria, we were talking before you came on about all the little gremlins that have been coming in and trying to usurp our little, like I'm texting Sheila, do we have something going on tonight? How is this working? And what we started the show with was how we're just surrendering to the flow and just trusting this process. And I want to thank you for your hard work in getting on this call tonight, because I know that I'm texting with Jennifer and Jen Berryhill, and I'm saying, can you text her the link to get on? And somehow it all worked out because we just trusted that it would. So I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about your band, One Heart Orchestra. And you told us a little bit about why you love Tico Time Resort, where we're having Sunfire Fest. But can you tell us a little bit more about, your love for music and what your whole goal is with your music? That's what really attracted me to inviting you to be a part of Sunfire Fest, is what you're doing over there in Colorado and what you're going to do for Sunfire Fest in New Mexico.
Yeah. Well, One Heart Orchestra is kind of this collaboration that's come together through all these different synchronicities and just watching life kind of funnel you in a flow towards something that you didn't know you were even headed towards. That's what it's really been. It's interesting to be here like 8 years from the time when I started singing with Magi Wilson, who's my co-lead in One Heart Orchestra. We've been singing together for a number of years and looking at like, okay, what's the kind of the next emanation? And about 3 years ago, we started One Heart Orchestra, and we're really moving into this time of like, okay, this really is the time, this is the time. We've been preparing, we've been training, we've been practicing, and this is the time to really start putting these songs out and sharing the music with a message on a bigger stage. And I was listening to all of these other musicians and really just loving the messages that were coming through, these transformational messages, these empowering messages, these ascension messages, these awakening messages that really support all of us in what Larissa was talking about, that embodiment piece. And I wanted to do music in a genre that really moves the body, and I've done I've done the I still lead kirtan. I do dances of universal peace. I lead dances of universal peace, which is an embodiment and music practice. And then One Heart Orchestra is really written, Magi is Rastafarian, and he has been practicing that way of being in the world as a countryman, as someone who really is nourished by the earth and grows up from the earth and understands plant medicine and understands that relationship that we have with the earth and that stewardship. And when we came together, I think another thing that happened, the synchronicity between Jen and I, is we've been brought up in the Lakota teachings and the Lakota songs and the lodge and Vision Quest, Hambalecha ceremony, Sundance ceremony. And it was like, I think I did those ceremonies for so many years. And then I was like, okay, how do I integrate this into the world that we live in and bring this out? And not necessarily the songs themselves, but like this feeling and this way of being, this way of showing up in the world, of holding myself sacred, of showing people how to hold themselves sacred, to honor the earth and all of the elements of the earth and how they contribute to our life and our sacred life. And then to move that through the body. So moving into this, like the reggae music, and how the reggae music and the beat and the rhythm of reggae music moves the body, and all of the intention behind that in Rastafarianism, in the spiritual belief system of Rastafarianism, and all that livelihood, that enlivenment has to teach us, and all that culture has to teach us about harmony and about all the, that's I love the theme of Sunfire being about the 5 harmonies. It's so beautiful because all of these practices and all of these ways of singing are about creating, how do we get in the harmonic, and then how do we expand the harmonic through sound, through singing, through music, through like running that vibration through our bodies, letting it dance and move our bodies, through mudra, through intentional movement, through ecstatic dance, where it just like explodes into this like real freedom of expression, but just freedom, like moving beyond how we move, how we posture, how we just the way that we move through our everyday world. And when we can start accessing these other realms and then bringing them into this way, this, I don't know, this world, this reality, it's all the same reality, but it's like moving and experiencing this reality in a different way. And I think a lot of us are really waking up to that and recognizing that we can bring that ceremony is not something that we go out and do and then come back and resolve and resign into our usual lives, but that we actually start being the living ceremony. We hold ourselves sacred in such a way that, and then the music flows from that, and the songwriting flows from that, and writing songs that the words like land and stay with us, the spoken word, the poetry, the themes, the teachings that we can just sing over and over and over again, that we can chant or do as mantra until the song is singing us, and then we are the living song, is really the idea of what I'm bringing forth through my music and my songwriting with One Heart Orchestra, and then getting to work with an amazing group of musicians who, we get to do that in the way that reggae music does that, with the rhythm and the rhythm and bass and the bass and drum and the skank and all of that really fun stuff that gets people, I think, dancing in a certain way. So, yeah.
I totally can feel myself wanting to dance in a certain way while you're talking. And I'm so glad that you were able to get on this call to explain that, because I have never met you in person yet. And there was a lot of magic on how you got to be on this bill. And I won't go into too many details about it, but I will say that, as somebody who's been a part of the vision and putting it together, helping Jen as much as I can. And Christy, man, she's been amazing. And Teresa Stone has been amazing. I just commend everybody for coming together in the spirit of community, in the spirit of wanting what's in the best and highest good for each one of us and for Mother Earth, and the sacredness of the ceremonies that will be taking place, especially the wiping of the tears ceremony, and getting people together to celebrate our differences rather than let them divide us, and to listen deeply with respect to each other. And we're being called forward to do that. And I think reggae music definitely weaves all of the components you're talking about. It feels like you being there was very divinely orchestrated, that One Heart Orchestra, was talked about. I think I heard your name in the beginning, but the way that you landed with us was very synchronistic and very magical. And the doors opened because the divine opened the doors. And one of the things that I'm really seeing with this particular festival and many of the others that are coming online is more and more women stepping into their empowered and integrated feminine, where they're integrating more of this masculine essence, but still staying, in that feminine way of nurturing and receptivity. But now there's a lot more women that are coming online and saying, this is my mission. I heard Larissa say that it's my mission, and we need to do our mission. And we're starting to get messages about what that mission is. And I hear from a lot of women that mission is bringing harmony to earth, uniting, and that love is the ultimate power that's bringing us all together. So it feels really, really strong that we're all being led and we're being called. And it's not like it's, a place that we just go down the street. This is a vacation type of journey that many people will be taking. It's not like we're driving 5 minutes away. We're taking a journey to get to Tico Time Resort. And it's an important journey. It's a journey that I feel many people who make that, it's a pilgrimage of sorts. And those that are called are jumping over whatever hurdle comes their way to get there. I even have people writing me from Australia saying, I feel like I have to be there. And it's kind of one of those planes, trains, and automobiles things to get there, like, oh my gosh, I just have to make sure I'm there. So it's coming together in a beautiful way. And when Sheila asked me to do these Mondays, every Monday in June, it was placed on my heart to really have that focus on our indigenous elders and wisdom keepers that are bringing us back to the natural rhythms of the earth, and how to work with the earth and with the star knowledge, and bringing those two together. So it seems to be a theme that's running through these conversations, and you hit the home run on your description of, your music and how you got into it. And I just can't wait. I'm super excited. And I'm also, for anyone that's watching this and that's feeling called, we want to make sure that you know that there's information available at sunfirefest.com. And if for some reason you can't join us in person, please look up all the speakers we've highlighted and the musicians we've highlighted, just to take in that flavor and be with us in a prayerful way while we're all together. If for some reason you can't join us in person, we appreciate you adding your energy, your love, your light to the weavings that we're all doing to unite us and bring us forward, co-creating a new earth. We just did a show last week called Portal to the New Earth, and Larissa was on that show on Awakening Code Radio, as well as a man named Harlan Emil Gruber, who makes these structures, sacred geometry structures for Burning Man, that he considers are a catalyst to getting us to this portal to the new earth. So that's where we're at. And we thank all of you. Thank you so much, Nuria, for being here and for joining the Sunfire Fest crew, and adding your light and your love and your heart. And I just can't wait to meet you in person. And Sheila, thank you for inviting me on to host on these Mondays. And we did our best with the music, and it just, I because I'm a DJ, I'm on an FM radio station, right? KXFMradio.org is our radio station, but we're podcasted. So I'm used to always leading us to the music and having our conversations, so that, our tagline is music and conversation to raise the vibration. And we tried. And so we can invite our listeners and watchers to go find these videos that we were looking for. And One Heart Orchestra, Nuria, can you give us your website?
Yeah, we're at oneheartorchestra.com. All one word.
And there's videos there, so you can hear the cool reggae beats and hear the lyrics and be inspired. That's what we want to do, is get everyone in that inspirational place in our hearts, so that we all feel it together.
Awesome. I really appreciate you being here this month, Michelle. You brought on some phenomenal people, and I'm so excited about the conference that's coming up, the big festival. Hope everyone will make that sacred journey to be there. I can't wait to meet everybody in person. Can't wait to hear your reggae music. That's going to be absolutely amazing. And I really appreciate you taking your time tonight to be with us. We've had, quite a technical difficulty literally this entire week. And starting like in Friday, it's just been one little technical thing after the other. And it's like, you know what? We're still going to make this happen. One way or the other, we're going to make this happen. And so everything has been recorded. It will be up on YouTube within a day or so, and we'll get that out. We are in the process with the Conscious Awakening Network on upgrading all of our services. We've got a brand new website, brand new phone apps. We're on 7 different television platforms. So in addition to Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, we're adding 4 more platforms. We're on all of a lot of the major podcasting. So this will also be sent out through podcasts. So lots of people are going to be learning about this phenomenal festival. And folks, if you're listening, please come down and join us. And Michelle, I want to thank you so much for being such a beautiful and gracious, co-host. It's really been the host this month because I really wanted to give you the platform, because this festival just means so much to you. And I can tell that it's just near and dear to your heart, because of the elder that you studied with. And so I really wanted to just give you this space this month to really pour out the contents of your heart and to share all the beautiful women that's going to be involved. It's really been an uplifting month for me. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheila. And like I've always said, the consistent theme throughout each one of these cosmic conversations we've had has been about conscious collaboration. And you are the queen of conscious collaboration. I witness you really just holding space for so many people to share their hearts and their wisdom. And I so appreciate you for doing that, Sheila. I prayed you in for sure. Before I met you, I'm sure I prayed you in.
Well,
For many
thank
years,
you.
I watched, and witnessed the way that people were working in these, I guess, spiritual circles. And I really just held out the hope that there would be people that would come together in that spirit of, as one rises, we all rise. We're all sharing the journey together. And you do that. So thank you for doing that so beautifully.
Well, thank you. And if people want to reach out to you, Michelle, and contact you, how can they do so?
Well, the best way to find me, I get a lot of messages through Facebook and Instagram, and my Instagram is Michelle and the number 2 and the word hearts, capital HEARTS, 2 hearts. Like I have one heart here and I have another heart to hold everybody that I love so dearly. That's the best way. I also have Awakening Code Radio is on KXFM, and we have a Facebook group there. So Facebook, Instagram, best way. And I'm also part of Disclosure Fest. So if anybody wants to come to Stairway to the Stars in November in Las Vegas, that's another event that I'll be a part of. So my email address is michelle@disclosurefest.org if anyone wants to get a hold of me that way.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here. I always love having you on. You're just a bright light to my day. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So much. I see the lights coming through my window.
Yes. Love it.
I've
Love it.
never
Just
seen it so big. Oh my God.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And I want to thank everyone who joined us tonight. Thank you, whether you're watching us live or if you're watching us on replay. We really do appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. And if you've not signed up to be on our mailing list, you can go to the galacticalliance.org, sign up, and you will receive 2 emails a week letting you know who all of our phenomenal speakers are going to be. And I'll just mention that I have Aginos coming on next month, and the focus is going to be a little bit around disclosure. And so mark your calendars, get ready for that. Michelle, again, thank you so much. Much love to you. Blessings in everything that you do. Blessings to everyone that's watching. And until we're back together again, namaste. Much love, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good night.